Good evening. Thank you for being here. We had some business matters to take care of in closed session, and I would like to call this meeting back to order at 7:11 on 9/8/2025. We have to amend the motion for closed session, and Mr. Wingate is going to read that section.
Okay, so I make a motion to amend our agenda to include this section 2.2, discussion of plans to protect public safety as it relates to terrorist activity or specific cybersecurity threats or vulnerabilities, and briefings by staff members, legal counsel, or law enforcement or emergency service officials concerning actions taken to respond to those matters or as related to public safety, specifically to review the division's crisis plan.
So we have a motion amended. Can we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. And now we have to end closed session by reading the certification statement. Somebody read that,
I got you.
please.
All right, certification of closed meeting, whereas the Madison County School Board has convened this closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Therefore, be it resolved that the Madison County School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
We have a motion. We need a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Patterson, will you call roll?
Mr. Marks?
I certify.
Mr. Sheets?
I certify.
Mr. Wingate?
I certify.
Mrs. Wood?
I certify.
Mrs. Collier?
I certify. All right, will you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we will observe the moment of silence. Okey doke. The next agenda item is to approve the personnel matters for September the 8th, 2025, to include appointments, substitute reappointments, and tutor and volunteers as presented. I'll open the floor for that motion.
Motion to approve personnel matters for September 8th, 2025.
We have a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. The next
Release from compulsory attendance.
agenda item, is to approve the students for compulsory attendance, number 22, as presented. I'll open the floor for that motion.
Motion to approve the release of compulsory attendance for student number 22 as presented.
We have a motion.
A
We need a second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? No. I got ahead of myself, sorry. Okay, the next agenda item is to approve the September the 8th, 2025 consent agenda as presented, and you'll see all of those things listed there. I'll open the floor for that motion.
Motion to approve the September 8th consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion. We need a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right. Now we get to do the fun part. Thank you for sitting through all that business stuff. So we will recognize the Senior of the Month. The Senior of the Month program showcases a graduating senior, one each month during the school year, and recognizes them for their academics, extracurricular activities, and their service to others. Each Senior of the Month will be recognized monthly at each school board meeting with a presentation of a certificate from the school board. At the end of the school year, we will once again honor the seniors of the month, and then each senior will in turn recognize the educator that has the greatest influence on their education while attending Madison County Public Schools. Good evening, everyone. You're not on.
Let's see. Now? Okay.
Yep.
It is my pleasure to introduce Emma Gear, our September Student of the Month. Emma, if you would join me at the podium, please. Emma has made incredible strides throughout her high school journey. In the classroom, she has shown tremendous growth, especially in math, where she has gone from hesitant and unsure to confident and determined. Her persistence, hard work, and positive attitude have paid off, leading not only to academic improvement, but also to a powerful boost in self-confidence. Emma now approaches challenges with excitement, seeing them as an opportunity to grow. As a nursing student, Emma's leadership and compassion shone just as brightly. She came into class each day with a smile and a positive attitude, encouraging her peers and stepping up as a leader, both in the classroom and the skills lab. In clinical settings, she worked independently, eager to learn, while also taking the time to help classmates prepare and pass the State Board of Nursing exam. Her empathy, dedication, and drive will no doubt serve her well in her future healthcare career. But beyond academics, Emma's journey is an inspiring story of resilience and strength. She has faced personal obstacles with quiet determination, never allowing circumstances to define her. Instead, she transformed these challenges into motivation, growing into a confident, thoughtful, and motivated young woman who leads by example. Emma's teachers are proud of the capable, compassionate, and hardworking individual she has become. She inspires those around her and exemplifies the qualities we all strive to see in ourselves. Congratulations, Emma. You are so deserving of this recognition. I present to you Emma Gear. We'd also like to take this time to thank her family for sending us her every day that we can love and take care of her. Thank you so much.
No, I'm not working. Congratulations, Emma. I can't talk because I'm going to cry, so congratulations. Okay, the next recognition is our September Support Staff Member of the Month. And Mr. Coyner is going to join us. Welcome.
Thank you. Check. Okay. It's my pleasure to announce Tinsley Roebuck as Madison County School Support Staff of the Month for the month of September 2025. Tinsley began working in Madison Primary School at the outset of the 2013-2014 school year. This is the same year in which I began working at MPS, and Tinsley was, in fact, the first person that I hired upon my arrival. 12 years later, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not thankful for that decision. And given her background in the banking field, it's no surprise that she completes her bookkeeping duties impeccably. And never is there a time when Tinsley does not know exactly where everything is and exactly why it's there. But Tinsley's greatest quality has less to do with bookkeeping skills as it does the quality of her character and the positive face that she provides for our school. If you've called our school or stopped by for a visit, it's very likely that Tinsley was your first point of contact. Her kind greetings and her helpful nature have been important in establishing a caring and nurturing atmosphere in our school. This is just who Tinsley is, as her love for children and community does not start or stop at the doors of Madison Primary School. Without speaking specifically, her support of children and the community is notable and worthy of gratitude. She is also quick to support others in the division and frequently stands in as the dispatch contact for the transportation department during afternoon bus runs. I think that's a favorite part of her job. While all of this is worthy of praise, the most impressive thing about Tinsley is her ability to anticipate need and to take proactive action. Many times I've asked Tinsley something like, I need you to do this, and then I need you to do that, and then this again, and she'll respond by saying something like, this is already done, that's finished, and the last thing's on your desk to be signed. In fact, I probably spend more time than I should asking Tinsley to do things that she's already done. She has certainly garnered the respect of all of our faculty and staff and the parents as well. Just a recent example, I spoke to some parents regarding school protocol, and they were very kind and accepting of my comments. And then I noticed a few minutes later they were in the office asking Tinsley if that was actually true or not. So she gets a lot of respect, and she certainly deserves it. And in closing, I want to thank Tinsley for everything that she does for the faculty, staff, and students at MPS, especially for the support that she provides for me. She is so important to the overall success of our school. Congratulations, Tinsley, on this well-deserved recognition. If you will please come forward.
Congratulations, Tinsley. Thank you for being the face of the primary school every morning. Okay. I think Mr. Corner's just going to stay right there and talk about the teacher of the month.
I am indeed. I'm honored to announce Stephanie Utz as Madison County Schools Teacher of the Month for the month of September 2025. I think the word that best describes Stephanie is dedication. She's dedicated to her job, dedicated to our school, and dedicated to her students. Stephanie is, I believe, a planner by nature, and she works tirelessly to ensure that every detail is in place prior to the start of the day, prior to the start of the month, if we're being completely honest. When Stephanie's teaching a lesson, you can be sure that she has considered every possible scenario that might derail her instructional intent, be it a disruptive student, a technology fail, or simply adjusting her instruction according to student understanding. Her classroom is simply a case study of effective instruction. Stephanie has also long served as a team leader for a strong group of second-grade teachers, applying her organizational skills to keep the group moving forward in a cohesive and productive manner. She is an active member of our school's instructional leadership team, and her leadership has proven invaluable as we have recently implemented or are implementing new curricula for both reading and math. As you know, no purchased curriculum fits like a glove, and she has led a group effort at her grade level to effectively manage the details and intricacies of implementing the curricula while ensuring alignment with the Virginia Standards of Learning. All of this speaks to Stephanie's command of the technical aspects of teaching, but rest assured that she possesses the necessary heart as well. As much as any teacher with whom I've worked, Stephanie is a true advocate for her students. On more than one occasion, I've seen Stephanie go above and beyond in her work with families of her students, putting what's right ahead of what's expected. She feels that there are some things that all children need and have a right to, and she doesn't rest until they get it. Now, I don't want you to think that this attention to detail translates to rigidity. She certainly has a sense of humor. I once gave her a little ribbing for using a preposition at the end of a sentence, so now she occasionally goes out of her way to do just that in her correspondence with me. On another occasion, a huge lizard had somehow gotten into our main hallway. I'm not talking about one of those little blue-tailed lizards. This thing looked like an iguana. It was. She promptly herded it into my office, much to the delight and hilarity of almost everyone there. I do have to admit, if I had known her middle name at the time, I would have used it. But upon reflection, it was pretty funny. But in short, Stephanie is everything that you want in a teacher, and we feel blessed to have her as a part of our NPS family. Congratulations on this recognition, Stephanie. It is certainly well deserved. If you could please come forward.
Congratulations, Stephanie. All right, we have one more recognition, and I believe Heidi is going to come forward. Is that right? And Heather. Heidi and Heather from the Madison Garden Club.
Yes. I'm Heather Schoenborn, and I am the past president of the Madison Garden Club from last year. Madison Garden Club is a civic organization that performs some public beautification, civic improvement, education for environmental, floral design, and gardening in our community. And we, among other things, we run a poetry contest and also an art contest for posters for Smokey Bear. But in this case, we have just a wonderful thing. Lily Richards has placed first with her 5th grade poem as judged by not just the Madison Garden Club, but the Shenandoah District of 50 garden clubs, the South Atlantic region, and at the national level. So we have a poetess of amazing skill and impact here in our own Madison 5th grade from last year, Lily Richards. James Pavelka, the National Garden Club Poetry Contest chairman, complimented Lily on winning at all the levels, including national. At the national level alone, there were 1,364 entries. Students from 35 different states made it to the finals. The theme was, "My garden has vegetables to spare that I can share, helping fight hunger by sharing vegetables from our garden." So I would hope you would help us recognize and congratulate Lily Richards on her immense achievement to be the national winner of the 5th grade. I'd like you to hear Lily's poem.
Very delicious and nutritious, everyone should share. Go ahead, enjoy the fresh air. Every tree and plant we grow takes time to be a part of the show. Away they go every year, but they'll be back, don't shed a tear. Let's all celebrate their hard work. Everybody let's share, share, share.
I have one more thing to present to Lily. Her poem was actually published on the National Garden Club website. And National Garden Club doesn't like paper, but I like paper. So we have printed off a copy of this anthology of poetry of the national winners, including Lily's poem. So I have for her that's the anthology. And I also have a copy of that anthology for the Waverly Owl Library, because I think they should have this as part of their formal record. Anybody else from Waverly Owl here today? Yes, I was hoping you would be here. Yay! Thank you. May I formally present you with a course. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, the teacher responsible for both the poster contest and the poetry contest, coincidentally, is Katie Gelati, and she has just been tremendous in juggling all of that, and successful people like Lily. Thank you all for letting us honor them here.
Thank you, representing Madison County so well. You have something to say?
I just want to thank the Garden Club, and I had a question for you all. Thank you for your support of the students. Do you all also work with the Madison County Fair and helping to recognize? I thought you all did. I just wanted to say thank you for that. I tell you, if you've not had a chance to go to the Madison County Fair and see where children have entered prizes and tomatoes and pictures, and their joy on those children's faces is amazing, and you all are part of that. So thank you for doing that. My 4-year-old's little face lit up so much when she got some little ribbons. It meant so much to her, and I saw countless children sharing in that. So thank you all very much for doing that. It's really a special kind of thing that Madison County does, and you all are part of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We do enjoy judging the fair, and we often have more than 100 entries. And if you want to see another thing that we do, as you go home tonight, take a look at the 2 gardens out front that we help maintain and design here at the high school. So,
You're doing an amazing job with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So our next agenda item is public comment. We welcome public comment to address the board. You may come to the podium, say your name and the area of the community that you live in, and there should be a timer. I can't see it. Is there a timer up there? There should be a timer up there where you can see how much time you have left. It will count down when you start talking. So anybody like to address the board?
Is this on? Okay. Lisa Davis, Locust Dale. As I said, it's good to be back. I've not been here since last October due to more surgeries and long recovery times. But anyway, I stand before you to thank you for all that you do. Since at least 2022, I've been looking for ways to get the junior ROTC program into this school. It gives high school students a curriculum focused on good citizenship, leadership, development, and discipline. Students gain skills in communication, teamwork, and physical fitness while also learning about American history, civics, and global awareness. The program fosters self-reliance and responsibility and improves college and individual career prospects. Basically, junior ROTC helps teenagers gain character, attributes, leadership, and life skills that they can apply in their education and careers. I recently met with School Superintendent Graham and discussed this further. I am working on getting representatives from the North Carolina Army Brigade that are professionals in setting up these types of programs. They will meet with just school representatives picked by Superintendent Graham during the school hours and then meet with representatives from our school board and board of supervisors hopefully that evening because they will depart the next day. This is important for all to be able to listen about the program and ask questions. With this better understanding, we may be able to support our students with a program that prepares them for life endeavors. It's the gears in motion now, but it takes a while. So I'm not looking at this even until the earliest would probably be January. But maybe I went about this different ways at different times. Hindsight, got to educate you all and myself and the school on just what the capabilities are, course cost, facilities needed, where different fundings come from, and so on. And then possibly go out and figure out how we can connect maybe with the schools more or use the ROTC at Culpeper or at Orange. Maybe they can come over sometime and, do the student talk, student on student, and let them learn more. But that's my game plan for this year for that, in which we'll keep you all informed. And American Legion Auxiliary is working on the Constitution Day contest, and it's going well with all the schools. And again, thank you all for everything that you do for this community.
Would anyone else like to address the board?
Quickly, time flies. I'm Russell Biber from Brightwood, and just want to say my heart is broken that we lose 3 of you this round, unless we just decide to put in write in for just those names. And I don't know, do you have a choice at that time? But I've been praying that the Lord would grant us 3 replacements that will be as concerned with doing right as the 3 that are leaving us have been, and encourage the remaining 2 to continue to do right. But we'll continue to pray on that. And I'd like to pray for you all and for our schools, if I may. Father, how we thank you for what you have been to this nation. And Father, we pray that your influence would be upon our schools, that you would be invited to participate, your counsel, your wisdom sought for. Father, I pray that you would be with the school board, the administration. Father, give them the wisdom that they need to do it correctly according to you. We pray that you would be with each school administrator, give them the wisdom they need, each teacher, each student. Father, we do pray for the support staff, that you would help them, guide them. Father, we do pray for the maintenance of the buildings, that catastrophic things won't go wrong. But Father, I pray that as we've seen you do before, you hold it all together. Father, thank you for being so wonderfully good to us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm
evening.
Nancy Sharman, and I live over in the Novum section of Madison County, way over there in the corner. And tonight I just wanted to talk about a short topic tonight on honoring the past and fueling the future. Not long into Christopher Wingate's tenure as a Madison County board member, he mentioned how he had attended Madison County School, and as a former graduate of Madison High, he wanted to honor the athletes of Madison with an athletic Hall of Fame. I remember that night. Okay? He mentioned it, and his idea became a plan. And that plan began to grow as the memories were able to be recaptured and remembered. And last Saturday night, a banquet at Wetzel Middle School, Christopher's dream of the Athletic Hall of Fame was unveiled for all to see. To be a part of, many attended that were never in the game, but as fans, they had filled the bleachers and still remembered the excitement and lived the games over and over. The evening's theme was honoring the past and fueling the future. Mike and I just happened to sit next to Doug Fears and his wife. Doug said, "I didn't do anything. I just kept score." Score for that 2010 basketball winning season. He's silly. As we all know, the win is in the numbers. The evening was full of coaches, teachers, runners, ball players, all representing team effort and all were honored. They say there are over 40% of our Madison middle and high schoolers playing a sport this year. The sports created teamwork, laughter, standing up for one another, times not forgotten. We all got to be a part of that memory lane. These athletes on the Athletes Hall of Fame wall in Wetzel Middle School, because of the dream of Christopher that he put feet to, has become a reality. And thank you, Christopher. Thank you, school board members, because you helped him carry that dream. Thank you, Superintendent Anna Graham, along with Drew Ians, along with the whole Hall of Fame committee. You just made history. By honoring the past, you are fueling the future, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to address the board? All right. Board members, would you like to say anything? We'll start with Mr. Sheets.
Mrs. Davis, it is good to see you back. Good to see you on your feet. I see you've been traveling a bit, and I hope you've been having fun. Thank you, ma'am. And Pastor Barber, thank you again, sir, for your faithful attendance here to these meetings. And Mrs. Sharman, also thank Chris Wingate for his push on that Hall of Fame deal. It's good work.
Thank you. Ms. Davis, welcome back. Glad to see you. Thank you for your faithfulness. On the JRTC thing, happy to help. I feel I know quite a bit about it because that's part of my job is to run a program over in Waynesboro, an Army JRTC program. Currently, there's one in Orange, and that program is willing to help us sort of go over there. We did have a survey, I think, a year plus ago. Wasn't a huge amount of interest, but maybe that grows. And Orange County is willing, I think, to take on students. You know, this transportation issue and timing issues, things like that. But certainly a place to start, and I'm certainly happy to help with how that kind of plays out. Pastor, thank you for your faithfulness and praying for us. Much appreciated. Mrs. Sherman, thank you for your kind words. I should deflect them. Really, credit goes to Mrs. Graham and the high school leadership and staff. It was a really nice evening as our inaugural class, and the hope really is, and the hope Mrs. Graham's good idea is that it grows and grows and grows. And of course, it really was touching to see those some of those folks. I think Mrs. Oots is how old? 92. I mean, and so then her sons were up there talking, and they're kind of teary-eyed. It was really a special moment for them, and that was a beautiful thing. It was credit to Mrs. Graham and to the staff of the high school who put that all together. So thank you for doing that. And I should say, practically speaking, I mean, our idea is at least my idea is that this becomes help with fundraising. As we all know, the sports facilities need to be updated. As we know, it's tough for the Board of Supervisors to fund, given the state of our county, and so maybe it'll change. Maybe the new folks can convince them to do so. It's a tough thing. So I think that the fundraising may be the most likely avenue for improving some of our sports facilities that really needed. I mean, folks, as you go around, and sometimes I'm told don't say that, but it's just honestly true. I mean, our sports facilities are, I don't want to say the poorest, but in the district, certainly, I think, as you go around the baseball and football and stuff, I mean, we're among the poorest facilities, in terms of quality. And it's not about how taking care of them at all. It's really just about the state of the field house, that hasn't changed. Though I say it hasn't changed since I played football there. It's a long, long time ago, and so I think that might be the most likely venue for improving their facilities is fundraising, et cetera. And I think we can tie it to the Hall of Fame as excitement builds. I hope that there will be maybe some private personal fundraising that goes on that helps us to answer that need for improved sports facilities. So I think there's a lot of possibilities there, and just the sweetness of watching old teammates come together and the 2010 basketball team. And I look forward to next year. You know, this will happen each year, and there'll be a team recognized each year, and the goodness of them coming back together and seeing what Madison sports meant to them was touching. I think good for the whole community. So commend Mrs. Graham, commend everybody for putting that together. It's a nice evening, and look forward to next year. I guess it'll happen a year from now. So thank you everybody who took part in that. I appreciate it.
Great.
I have nothing to add. That was well said.
Yeah, like, how do you go after that? But yeah, thank you all for your comments today. And honestly, just kind of coming out here each month and giving us these comments and giving us this feedback and taking time out of your schedules, it really does come very appreciated and very noticed, I think, by all of us. I can't think of any way I could help with the ROTC thing, but I think it's a phenomenal idea too. I really look forward to hearing more information about that as well. And I definitely think, like I kind of wrote down, I don't know who came up with honoring the past and fueling the future, but those words are really phenomenal, and I think that that's going to be like my theme for the day. Like, what was it? She's good. Yeah. But like really, really good theme, and honestly, it's just it's kind of how we can, you know, hold on to our past but still use it to move forward. Thank you all for coming.
Do you have anything to say? You're part of the board. Do you have anything to say right now, or you can wait later?
It's okay. I had the pleasure of serving at the Hall of Fame dinner, and it was very it was so amazing to see all the people there. And of course, I know a few people that are like, "Oh my goodness, hi Tylee, like how are you?" And like just people I haven't seen in so long, and it's just a great way to bring in the community because there's so many. I was filling up waters, and every single table I went by, they were like people talking and then engaging, and the whole community was engaging, and it's like people reunion. It's like a reunion with everybody that you haven't seen in so long, and it's so nice to see, and it's amazing. But I do say the ROTC, that would be a great program. Just for anybody, it's just an opportunity that kids don't get to have. It's amazing because any opportunity helps. And thank you for the prayer, because we all need it.
Yes, I don't know that I have anything to add other than thank you for your faithfulness. And it's good to see you back, Lisa. Thank you. And thanks to the Sharmans for your faithfulness as well. We appreciate the feedback and the information that you bring every month. Okay, just a few more things, I believe. We will get down to staff reports. The first review is our crisis plan, and I believe that Mr. Eanes is coming to share that information with us.
Yeah, so I'm Drew Eanes. I'm the family support worker, but also I'm in charge of the safety and security coordinator for the school division. We have updated our annual crisis manual that has been distributed to everyone that needs to receive that. We did meet in closed session and talk about some safety issues and plans we have for the school system. But I think we're up and running pretty well this year so far, and I just ask you to accept the crisis plan as updated for this year.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Eanes?
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming. Okie doke. The next item is our character education program. And I believe Ms. Alexander is going to come share some information with us.
Before the principals get to their individual school plans, I want to share a little bit of information about bullying behavior, specifically last year. And then I pulled a few data points from the Virginia School Survey of Climate and Working Conditions. So, if we look at last year, All right, just a reminder, and this is from our policy, bullying involves actions that are carried out repeatedly or are sufficiently severe and persistent or pervasive or are systematically and chronically abusive. Bullying means systematically and chronically inflicting physical harm or psychological distress on one or more students or employees. So for reported bullying last year, you can look that we had incident in April and one in December. The one in April was actually a founded case of bullying behavior with no physical harm. And then over to the right of that, you can see all the interventions that were done, including training with the resource officer, discipline consistent with school board policy. There are typically schedule adjustments to avoid having students come into contact if it's severe enough. Safety plans are put into place, and then there's counseling for the kiddos involved. All right, the next slide. The data points shared reflect students' perceptions of relationships and safety in the school buildings. And I believe we had about 150 students that were surveyed in grades 9 through 12. The regional and state pool were much larger, obviously, but you can see the numbers are fairly consistent. So students care about other students on a scale of 1, strongly disagree, to a 6, strongly agree scale. We were right there with the regional and state average. And then adults, students' perceptions of adults caring about students is a 4.7, which was higher. And again, consistent with regional and state data. The next slide. This one is specifically students' perception of safety in the school buildings. And the question was, a student threatened to harm me. And you can see that 1 would be never, and 4 would be many times, and the division rank was 1.1, and then the regional and state were a little bit higher, 1.2. All right, and the following is actually students' perception of bullying in the school buildings. So 1, again, strongly disagree, to a 6, strongly agree. Bullying is a problem. It seems the students are fairly neutral with a 3.1. Again, consistent with region and state, but you can see where I feel safe in my classes, a score of 5, a lot closer to that strongly agree scale. So with Positivity Project and how we focus that on encouraging or promoting attitude and behavior consistent with the district's expectations, the goal as it pertains to bullying-related behavior is through guided character development that we would extinguish those instances of verbal and physical or aggressive behavior from student to student or student to teacher. So the idea here is that we focus on the good through teaching those character traits through Positivity Project. And with that, who's up? Primary school? Mr. Coina will briefly share out, because this is very similar to what you all saw last year.
As Ms. Alexander said, this is going to be pretty familiar. We did go through some of this last year as well. So I want to talk just a little bit about our school-wide expectations. I think that character education is more than just the lessons that we're teaching in the classroom, right? It's a structure that we provide for kids. It's the expectations that we maintain for kids and the examples that we set for them. So we approach all of this in the same way that we do academics, and we operate on a tiered system that is going to provide increasing levels of support for students who need the support. And at the Tier 1 level, and this is something that we just do school-wide, our school-wide expectations being very simple and straightforward: be responsible, be safe, be respectful. We teach explicit lessons throughout our school building, teaching students what that looks like in different areas of the building, and we take the kids to those areas of the building to have these lessons. We reference those expectations when we're talking to students about behavior and asking them if their behavior was respectful or how could they have been more responsible, made a more responsible decision. I think you're all familiar with our bucket filler program that rewards students for positive behaviors using bucket slips. And then we also recognize students on our morning announcements, have bi-weekly school-wide assemblies that recognize students for collecting those bucket slips and showing that positive behavior. Next slide, please. The next 3 slides are all Virginia SOLs that apply to the character traits. Does this sound better? I thought I sounded pretty good. Thanks, Jackson. The next 3 slides are Virginia standards of learning that apply to the character traits that we're observing on. So click through these very quickly, if you would. These are the kindergarten standards, the first grade standards, and the second grade standards. Obviously, they're plentiful throughout the curriculum. Back to the Positivity Project. This is our second year of implementation of the Positivity Project. What you see here is just a little snippet of what the calendar looks like. And then each series of these lessons addresses a specific character trait and engages students in this real-world application. Those lessons are about 15 minutes in length, and they're taught during morning meeting time each day. They typically consist of a short video clip followed by a teacher-led discussion asking students to identify examples of the character trait, and then they apply that to different situations. Like the integrity lesson, I believe, involves a little clip of a firefighter. So they define what integrity is, ask students to identify within that video clip where they saw integrity, and then where do we see it in other parts of our lives. Next slide, please. These are just some activities that embrace character and citizenship that we do at the primary school and have for some time. Our daily character message, ongoing collaboration with the American Legion for contests and assemblies. The Constitution Day contest was just brought up, and we are currently engaged in that. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting all of that together for the American Legion to come and pick up, and we appreciate that. They also help us out with our Veterans Day Assembly, and we appreciate that too. Mock elections, field trips to government offices, community support. Our Kindergarten Community Helper Day is a big hit. The kindergartners dress up as community helpers. It's the most adorable thing you've ever seen. If you haven't been by to see that, you really should stop by. Second grade, write your own law, and our second graders also in the second semester start to dip their feet into DARE. Next slide, please. At our advanced tiers, we identify the need for additional support through a meeting process. We meet once a month on student behavior and social interactions to identify students that we feel like could use a little bit more help. Those initial interventions are typically connected directly to our school-wide expectations. I'm speaking at a Tier 2 level. But then we can also pare those down to be more specific. If a student is specifically struggling with following teacher directions, then we can aim a plan more towards that, and then we monitor the progress of those students as they move through. Next slide. This is just a sample of our check-in, check-out process and how we graph the results of check-in, check-out. This is at the Tier 2 level. Everything past Tier 1, by the way, we're working with parents on. And parents are an important part of this check-in, check-out process because we provide parents with daily feedback on student behavior, and parents can provide back to us what they're observing at home. And this is just a sample chart of what I would say would probably be a typical successful student. If you know, starting off, we see a number of checkpoints that are below our aim line there. which you typically see when you first implement an intervention. Behavior typically tends to dip a little bit before it improves, and then this is really what we hope to see. You know, there's going to be a couple of hiccups, and obviously we're not expecting students to be perfect every day, but by and large, this is a successful implementation of an intervention. So we do start by acquiring a baseline, we set the goals, we implement the plan, and then we review those plans on a monthly basis. Next slide, please. These are just some samples of resources that we may or may not use with students. Zones of Regulation is a pretty popular publication. We do occasionally use that. It helps students understand their own emotions. Social Explorers help students if they're struggling to interact with others. And then we also certainly can consult with teachers, either the instructional coach or the school counselor. If we're looking at a situation and we feel like something maybe needs to change in that classroom on the management side, then our instructional coach would probably be that collaborator. If it's something more specific to an individual student plan, probably the school counselor. Next slide, please. So the options that we have at a Tier 3 level, so these are going to be students, and there are not many of them, that have not responded positively to the other interventions that we put in place. We're going to start meeting as a student-based intervention team on at 6-week intervals. So this team consists of the service providers for a student, as well as the student's parents. Things that can come from that might be a functional behavioral assessment, which would identify the function of a child's behavior, be it attention or escape or whatever it might be, quickly followed by a behavior intervention plan with a specific plan with specific actions outlined, supports that we're going to put into place for that student. And then we also have access to prep services, to a behavior specialist with prep, and they also can provide ABA support, most typically for students with disabilities. Next slide, please. The initiatives in our school, have you filled a bucket today? We're probably all familiar with that. We recognize October as National Bullying Prevention Month. Unity Day in October we recognize. We recognize Character Counts Week, Random Acts of Kindness Week, and a couple of school-wide book focuses. Next slide, please. And lastly, just in addressing bullying specifically, these are just examples of a couple of the lessons that we do. Be a bucket filler, not a bully, that defines what bullying is, defines the different ways people can bully, muscle bullying, mouth bullying, or friend snatcher bullying, which is tough for kindergarten and preschool, by the way. We do that with first and second graders. And some of the sample objectives, students will understand the difference among aggressive, passive, and assertive communication styles, discuss how communication styles impact their relationships with others, be able to explain the difference between an upstander and a bystander, and discuss why it's important to be an upstander. So again, these are just a couple of things that I pulled out of some of the bullying awareness lessons that Ms. Organ-Lohr presents in her guidance lessons. And I believe that is my last slide. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Thanks, Mr. Corner. Couple of questions and a comment. Just roughly, what percentage of your students are Tier 1 versus Tier 2 versus Tier 3?
So we would include our entire student population at Tier 1, so everyone in the building is getting that. Tier 2, right now it's only one student at Tier 2 and 0 at Tier 3. As the year goes on, I'd say it's reasonable to think that we might have about 12 to 14 students at Tier 2 and maybe 2 or 3 at Tier 3.
Okay, thank you. And then what Positivity Project, had a full year now with it. What's your assessment of it, its utility and how it's going?
I like it. I think it's simple to use. Everything is right there for the teachers. The company itself provides the calendar options and all of the links to all the materials. So it's something that teachers don't have to work hard to pull together, which is really what we need, because we're bumping it in there that first 15 minutes of the day. So that's a big help. But I've heard only good things.
Thank you. And then my comment is just that I'm always impressed with the thoroughness of watching the primary school and the check-in, check-out process, and that tier management and bringing parents in and stuff. And it's always just want to commend you for it. It seems like a thoughtful process that I think has been effective, and it's probably reflected in those numbers you just talked about, probably. So thank you for that very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Clear my throat a little bit, sorry. Greetings from Waverly Owl. Thank you. Next slide, please. We'll go ahead and start. At Waverly Owl, we're continuing along the same line that we had with our STAR program. Show determination, take responsibility, act safe, and respect everyone. These are school-wide expectations. They're posted throughout our building. They're explicitly taught. Students receive STAR forms as positive referrals from any staff member in regards to their STAR behavior. And they're written for students who consistently demonstrate those school-wide expectations. And they're celebrated and recognized at grade level assemblies at the end of each 9 weeks for academic attendance and kindness. Next slide, please. All right, so our STAR program guidelines, each student receives a STAR form for being recognized for that targeted behavior, and it is worth 10 points. Everyone begins with 20 points to start the year, and we have a monthly store that they're able to trade their rewards for trinkets or whatnot. It's quite a popular thing, I would say. We just recently had a lunch with the principal, so that was exciting. Someone actually wanted to eat with us. It was nice. So students are certainly bought into our STAR program. We have a monthly reward for STAR forms, and students are recognized as the STAR Student of the Month. We have quarterly rewards through our STAR assemblies, and then an end-of-the-year goal everyone celebrates with our STAR dance, which is quite the event in our building. So we definitely have some buy-in for our STAR forms, and it's an exciting time when students come up and share, look what I got this STAR form for, and they're definitely excited about our program. Next slide, please. The next couple of slides go over the standards of learning to support civic instruction, which of course have not changed. But our monthly topics of character instruction for the Positivity Project has changed a little bit. They change a little bit every year, kind of based on the bank of character traits that Positivity Project assigns. And then we survey our staff to see what are some things that you think need some extra attention. What are some character traits you think we really need to work on? So based on that staff survey and kind of what we see and what the Positivity Project has to offer, we tailor that to what students need and what we're providing for them. So in August, our character word of the month was integrity, doing the right thing even when no one is looking, and that review of STAR expectation. September, our character word this month is self-control. So as we're becoming more familiar with one another, we need to make sure that we are demonstrating self-control. This month we'll also begin our Waverly Dreamers program. Next slide, please. October's character month is perseverance. That's when we're really digging into the hard part is perseverance, being able to persevere. November, gratitude, of course, is our character word. Next slide, please. December, fairness. And then we'll have throughout all of our quarter 2 and quarter 1 previous assemblies. January, our character word is humor. Next slide, please. February, kindness. We also have our Heroes Breakfast, Random's Acts of Kindness Week, and then the Waverly Dreamers will be integrated for the second semester. March, our character word is teamwork. April, leadership. And then May, perspective. So those are the character words through the Positivity Project we focused on throughout the year. Next slide, please. The DARE program is delivered by Deputy Dillon to all of our fifth grade classes throughout the year. And the fifth grade also has the Waverly Dreamers program, and that's delivered by our school counselor, Rachel Dove. So any fifth grade student can apply for the program with an application. So they have to fill out an application, they have to get recommendations from their teacher, they have to go through an interview process. We have about 30 jobs or 30 roles that our fifth graders help out with throughout the building, and they teach leadership and responsibility, time management, as well as being positive role models to others throughout the building. Next slide, please. Extracurricular activities, we do the courthouse tour and the historical landmarks tour for our fourth graders, the Constitution Day art contest, and the read alouds. We have Constitution Day read alouds where guests come in and read aloud for that event, our Veterans Day assembly, and writing and art contests. We couple with the Extension Office for our fourth grade presentations, as well as our Kids Marketplace for third grade, and then our Heroes Breakfast, which honors our local heroes in our county. Next slide, please. When we are in need of staff support, or teachers are in need of support, or students are in need of support, we communicate with our school counselor. We have a TDT worker in our building, instructional coach, and of course administration. And we have, much like the primary, monthly meetings to discuss student progress. We have a checking in on friends form for our counselor. So if a teacher feels that a student just needs a check-in, then they just fill that form out, and the guidance counselor will meet with that student as needed. We have anti-bullying supports, of course, that are woven into the counseling program through guidance lessons, but also we have a box outside Deputy Dillon's office for reporting, as well as Ms. Dove has a box outside her office for students to request a meeting with her in regards to those things. And of course, Ms. Spears and I are always available for students. Next slide, please. So our character education timeline, or awareness initiatives throughout the year. What is a STAR student? That's really our focus for the first couple months, August and September. We have National Bullying Prevention Month, Red Ribbon Week, and Unity Day. This year we're participating in the Reading Revolution in October, which is sponsored by the Virginia 250 Committee, and we're super excited about that. That is something that we've signed up for through the Department of Education, and really celebrating Virginia 250. Community Kindness Week, Random Acts of Kindness Week, and of course Star Spirit Week. Any questions and/or comments?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Same question to you. Positivity
Sure.
Project assessment after a year.
Yes, last year we started with our school counselors delivering the positivity projects through our specials rotation. This year we've opened it up to all staff. Now they've kind of seen and it's been modeled how to implement the lessons and things of that nature. Ms. Dove is pushing in for 20 minutes of counseling, and there are now folders that we have through our Google Drive or whatnot where they can access all the materials for each character trait for the month, and then they deliver that as well during our STAR time at the beginning of the day from 8:30 to 9:10. They do that.
And your assessment, though, of sort of, is it a
Absolutely.
good fit? Is it the right program
Absolutely.
for us?
Yes, absolutely. I really like how it builds on the positive, but then the character words are such that we can integrate those when we have conversations with students. You know, have you demonstrated self-control today? Or are you showing integrity and doing what you should do when no one's looking? Those are all conversations that we've had, even so far this year with students as as we meet and speak with them. So, while they're learning the ropes.
Yeah, thank you. And then
Sure.
the last, just a comment, and I think this is sprinkled throughout your presentation, but just a reminder to all the principals, so that there are some mandates in that character education policy that we passed about. The 5 character traits that the school board voted on to really focus on. So as you talked about pulling them out of the Positivity Project and pulling out your staff, please also look at those, respect and integrity and kindness and self-control and American patriotism. So please make sure we're covering those. And you do a lot of that with like Veterans Day and stuff. But then also for that patriotism, part of the timeline for character ed, it's required to be things like celebrating George Washington's birthday and Veterans Day and Columbus Day and all those things that we mandated. So thank you for remembering that.
Sure. Absolutely.
I will say that it's awesome to see the transition from the bucket filling up to the STARS program, which if people are kind of wondering how well the STARS program really works, if you were wondering why there's a traffic jam in Madison County in the spring, it's because people are trying to get into Wetzel. To Waverly. It's that big. And to see so many kids that are able to qualify and participate with that, and that they are avid about going. It is a tremendous asset to our community with that. And the Dreamers program as well. I know that with our kid made it into that, and it was great to see the desire to want to go to school because he had a role and a responsibility in it. As a kid that literally hates school every day of his life, when he was a part of the Dreamers program, wanted to go every single day because he didn't want to let his mentor teacher down. And so that's a big thing. It creates a great draw into our school system to actually have kids want to be there. And if you don't know education, that's one of the biggest battles, is having kids wanting to be there in the building. That's huge. So great job with that.
Thank you. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you all are well. All right, Wetzel Middle School, if we can go to the next slide, please. Just like you hear at Waverly Star, at Wetzel Middle School for many years now, we stand on Show Your Blue. And these 4 expectations you'll see there are all encompassing, and what is really nice is how this Positivity Project has folded so well into what we already had established. So those are our basic school-wide expectations that are taught during the first week of school, during our WIN time. And that's all encompassing of our entire building. Next slide. This is just a copy of that matrix where you can see where each area of a school requires specific behaviors. Next slide. SOLs that are addressed through character education and citizenship, and that's just broken down. That is not new. Nothing changed within those from last school year. We want to go to the next slide. Some of our activities. So yes, the American Legion Essay Contest, and we've had great success at the middle school over the last several years with very high achieving students making it up to the national level and being winners. We look forward to that. We are in the middle of that right now. At our 8th grade completion ceremony, so the Daughters of the American Revolution, there's a presentation and a special award that is given at the end of that 8th grade year for someone who is making up the characteristics of a good citizenship award. Next slide. With our character education, we have a very organic approach that a team at the middle school created to involve students in their part, their role, their self-reflection of how they're doing with these character traits. And I'm going to get to that matrix in just a minute. And so I will circle back to that. Our Veterans Day, we have an assembly that is completely planned by our students and executed, and we invite veterans to join us for that. We reach out, so that will be coming up soon before we know that. And so that is a wonderful event that is completely student-driven. Different celebrations, and yes, each of the American holidays we do recognize, whether it's scavenger hunts around the school or information coming through Wake Up Wetzel, or, it may be that we reach out about someone coming into the building to share with us, but we work with those each year as well. We have a Wetzel Helps Others Club because we have clubs every other Friday at the middle school. That club specifically focuses on events at the local, the regional, and global level to reach out. We do SCA food drives and an SCA at our school. Next slide. Some of the same things you saw on the others, National Bullying Prevention Month, Unity Day. So back to this lovely character traits biweekly conference. So at the middle school, we use a matrix, and our matrix focuses on the 5 core character traits as designed in school board policy.
with kindness and American citizenship and respect. And we have the 5 character traits. Every 2 weeks, our students meet with their WIN-time teacher, and they first assess themselves and reflect on how they've done within those last 2 weeks based on those traits. And then the teacher has a conversation with them. They earn points through that. They can earn double recess every other Friday. So what that means is just when they have recess and lunch, they can choose to stay outside for both recesses and eat outside if they choose, or stay in the cafeteria for both, whichever they would like. They also earn points for our Share Your Blue store. That's what's tied into our Share Your Blue store, like you hear at Waverly, and they earn the trinkets and all the fun things. Cool thing about ours is it runs through our business class, through Laura Daniels' business class, and our students are the ones that keep track of those points. They're the ones that assemble, they keep track of the inventory, what's needing to be ordered, they do the deliveries, so that is a wonderful piece that fits with our CTE program. So that is nice for our kiddos to have involvement in that. Again, I think I mentioned SCA. We have FCCLA and FBLA leadership activities. Again, that's a Laura Daniel thing, and she is so busy all year long with so many different opportunities for our kiddos through that. And then new to us this year is going to be our student leadership cabinet. That is going to be application-based, and that is where students from each grade level will be able to meet with the leadership once a month to discuss topics for the school. Next slide. That's the good character education policy. And we kind of just talked about how during our WIN time, we use that as our access point for students to do this. The matrix is attached. I don't know if you can click the word matrix down at the bottom. It says C matrix under how. And there you will see. Whoops. Okay, there you go. So that is the 5 core character traits and then what that looks like. So you'll see on that matrix how they evaluate themselves. And then the next slide is just how our lessons are delivered. So they are delivered first, our Wake Up Wetzel, which is a videoed morning announcement. Crew that gets together and they do all our morning announcements. They go over whatever that character trait is for the week, and they'll do that part. And then during WIN time, the lessons are delivered by every WIN time teacher. And then, of course, there's a school-home connection, and that is the same for all of our schools. Our school counselors send that out to families once a week, and it describes what that character trait is. It provides them access to 1 quote, 1 video, and 3 questions that at home they can have a further conversation with their student about that character strength of the week. And then this was just a slide, kind of just why it's so great to help us with that proactive approach for anti-bullying, because anti-bullying is so much being proactive and teaching students what are the appropriate behaviors. And so you'll just see a few of those things listed, that it focuses on character strengths, it builds those positive relationships, provides a common language for everyone to use. And so the idea is that it will reduce bullying by fostering their understanding of the positive character output. So that may be my last slide. It sure is. Do you all have any questions?
I just want to say that I love the WIN conferences. Like, I love it when my kid comes home and tells me how hard he's been on himself for the week, and that other kids don't tell on themselves the way that he does. But like, I really think that that level of responsibility and teaching that to him has been a really, beneficial thing. So personally, I just really do like those conferences and that personal accountability. It's one thing to say or hear like, oh, you need to do this or do this or do this, but it's a completely different thing to say, oh, I did this and I shouldn't have done it, or things like that. So I just wanted to give you kudos for those. Like, it's pretty cool.
I will share that with the team. That was a team idea.
And I just echo Sharon, kudos about, I love how you've kind of folded the character traits that we've asked you to focus on in times into your curriculum, and you've done that in a really thoughtful way, I think. Thank you. Another thing I have to say is I read something the other day about how effective leadership is often characterized by when you kind of stack efforts on top of each other. And I was thinking about that when you're talking about your CTE, using the CTE business club to get at some of this characterization stuff, and so you're accomplishing multiple goals in one thing, and so it's a mark of a good leadership. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Sure, and the other schools as well, it is embedded. What's a beautiful thing is that those character traits that were chosen are embedded in each of our positivity project lessons, so they for sure are getting those core character expectations, yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, time for the high school, and I can pretty much say ditto to a lot of what everybody's already presented. Next slide. I'm going to kind of talk about the differences that we have at the high school as compared to the other schools and how we incorporate these into our curriculum. And first, just kind of looking at econ and personal finance is something that we use for actually all 5 of the characters, if you think about it, being responsible citizens, leadership within their own lives, responsibility, all of those things, Virginia and U.S. history, Virginia and U.S. government. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're revamping the Virginia and U.S. government classes as well and going back out into the community and doing our shadow day again. So kids actually have that hands-on experience. That was one of my favorite things in high school. And I believe Anna Graham shadowed the superintendent of the schools, and here she is. So it is very effective. Next slide, please. We just recently, and we had a post on this for our senior election day. So the seniors actually had a forum in here where the candidates presented their speeches to their local, and then they actually came out and we had set up a kind of simulated voting booths so that they could actually get the experience of coming out and being able to have that citizenship and that leadership and knowing how important it is and what your vote means. And in addition to that, we also have Lauren Eanes, who comes out during lunch and talks to our students about voter registration and can actually register them at lunch. And of course, coming from her, it means even more than coming from us because here's somebody out in the field. And we talk about responsibilities as you turn 18 and you are now a legal citizen. We also have started our Think of a Veteran. So we have a recognition wall, but last year we started with a breakfast so that they could come in, and especially our staff. We really wanted to recognize our staff and what they have done for our country as well. Community service. I'm going to pause a little bit on that one. That is something that is near and dear to my heart. And our overall theme this year at the high school is kindness. And I am so big on our students giving back to the county that has given to them. And I think that comes not only through community service, but respecting others, respecting themselves, and giving to them. We also have our MCHS blood drive. And then we have our Madison Day involvement where we have school-based teams. This year, we're going to take it a little bit farther and actually do an MCHS involvement day where everybody in the school is going to be working at our school as well. We'll be mulching, doing things outside, painting, doing things to take pride and respect the building that we're in. Next slide, please. Like I said, Government Day, I am working with Tracy and also Ms. Campbell in town and getting people that we can actually shadow. Carol White is our government teacher, so she is taking an interest inventory with our students to see where they might be interested, what they would want to do. So we would do a fall day and a spring day so that every senior has the opportunity to shadow someone in our local government and out in the community. We also have my student principals cabinet. This is selected by application. They also have to do a presentation of themselves electronically to send to me and include a resume. so that they can get used to submitting their resumes as well. And they are some of our student leaders and the voices for other students as well. They also will help me with the second annual Community Thanksgiving Dinner, which we will be doing again this year. We will also be doing the Winter Wonderland for all of our littles in December as well. We also have our civic seal for our diploma. And then the military branch presence at MCHS, that seems to increase this year, which is good because we were talking about JROTC. I'm finding more and more kids this year are interested in the military. And our cafeteria is a blaze of excitement when they are in there. So however we can build that program, there is definitely more interest now than even there was last year. So that's something that I'm glad we will be looking into. Next slide, please. And here is kind of our We Use Positively Project 2. Our teachers really like it because it is easy to use, user-friendly. But what we did last year, we kind of took it a little bit a step farther. So we have our lessons that are already printed out, but for instance, like our English, they would take the word, teach the lesson, and then give an English assignment. So sometimes there was a poem or something that they had to write that included that word. So we're so department-oriented that to us, we could teach it as a school, but then it made more sense to break it down by department for the kids. And I think the kids enjoyed that very much so. American citizenship, we also do a MCHS recycling drive. And then this past year was the first year that we had every senior take the U.S. citizenship civics test. And then we looked at that data too to kind of see where we were. We do have the help box as well that's outside guidance and outside Deputy Polina that he checks every day, as well as our guidance department. We have grade level assemblies on all of our character traits in the second semester. First semester, we work more within the classroom. Second semester, we take those and apply those. We also had our screenagers this year as well. And I think at the Back to School Carnival, that was quite a hit for a lot of our parents. We purchased one book that was kind of large. So then we went back and looked at some things, and there was a smaller book that's really broken down for parents on exactly how teenagers think when it comes to that. And I read that book, and that is very user-friendly. Talking about kindness, just to kind of let you know some things too that we are putting into effect. Our art class has been asked to go to the animal shelter to paint some murals for them. We also met George Tynes, who's our Madison construction teacher, Cheryl Paramore, who's our ITL lead, and myself met with Shirley Workman. So we are working with our senior citizens here in Madison and our kids going out to their homes to build handicap ramps, to replace windows, to replace doors. We felt there again that was a good time or a good way for students to be actively involved in the community. We just started talking about that. The senior citizens will come up with the supplies, and our kids will actually do the work under the with Mr. Tynes, of course. And we have an appointment, I think, next Thursday with Cardinal to see maybe if we can work a deal with them to at least maybe get supplies much cheaper. Probably not free, but much cheaper because we are talking about senior citizens and a limited budget. So we have some things in place with community service that kind of tie in everything, you know, being respectful of the people that you're working for, being kind to them, being responsible, being a good citizen, which is what we want when they leave our doors, and of course, integrity. So it's kind of all tied in there. We do the in-class, but then my expectations are they show those. Next slide. Literacy teachers, they're focusing their character traits, one character trait per 9 weeks. And then the American citizenship is really hammered in into our history curriculum. Next slide. maybe. That's it. Okay. Any questions?
A question. Will you please share the results of that civics exam that seniors took?
Yes. Looking at that, and we shared it at the end of last, I think the very last May meeting, I think, or June meeting, I think. Looking at all of our seniors, because every senior took the same exact test, we had 88% pass, which, you know, they kind of took it cold turkey too, because we wanted to see what they knew, what they didn't. And then our government teacher took those results and broke those down, and then looked into what she needed to incorporate more into daily lessons.
And I ask, just so I mean, not much public here, but I want people to know that how well you all did in teaching them. I mean, I think, you know, part of the reason why we put that in the policy was the national average is like an abysmal 40% or something. And so, you know, we want to be an outlier of that for sure. And so 88% is fantastic. And of course, working towards more, but it is wonderful.
Yes, and it was good data for us to know.
Just commend you for that for work. And the other thing is the outreach. I love that outreach with the CTE stuff. It's beautiful. And I think also I think one of the concerns I was thinking about with the Positivity Project and all the character education stuff, because there's so many high schoolers don't go to homeroom. At first, I think we were focused on homeroom a lot, and so a lot of, I don't know, a third of the students or half the students were missing that.
We were, and I think that's why we more incorporated it into an
really
everyday.
Nice. Makes a lot more sense. That way all the students get those things, even if they're coming in at lunchtime or whatever. So that's a really, really good idea. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okey doke. Let's see, where are we? SOL test results. Dr. Jones?
So before she gets started, the next three things are all part of the presentation that you pull up under letter C.
Okay.
So everyone, it'll blend together. You'll just go from one to the next.
All right. So I'll be the first part of the blend. We'll be reporting on the division-wide data and some celebrations, and then I'll be turning it over to Mr. Coyner and Dr. Reese. What I will share with you tonight, I just want to be clear, is based on raw data. So none of the smoke and mirror stuff with growth or any of the other. This is pass, fail. And so whether we love or no matter what your opinion is on testing, it is here. It's a reality. And so drum roll, next slide, and then the next slide actually. Celebrations. Our school division ranked third in Virginia for the biggest jump in overall SOL pass rates, meaning that, that we moved up, we improved. So that's fantastic. We also ranked second in Virginia for overall state ranking improvement. And so those are things that we are proud of. We have work to do, but we are definitely moving in the right direction, as you'll see in the next few slides. I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to watch the press conference with Governor Youngkin, which was about 10 days ago, August 27th. He talked about the fact that students have to really show what they know 30 to 40% more than the previous year because everything is more complex on the tests now, particularly in reading and math. The items require higher order thinking. Students are having to do more application of their knowledge, and the revised math and English language arts standards are more rigorous. And so the gains we've made, we feel even more proud of after hearing the governor talk, because it's more impressive knowing that they faced an increasingly difficult test and standards. So keep that in mind as we go through this information. I'll go through each content area, and these are division scores, not by school. The schools will share their information. So in reading, you're going to see the past 3 years. And the blue on each of these slides is our division as compared to state average. And you can see growth each year in reading. Last spring, we scored 65% pass in reading as compared to the state average of 74%. If you'll flip to writing, 16% growth since 22-23, 72% pass rate as compared to the state last spring with 76. So that is excellent. We're proud of that. In math, great gains. We are at 69% pass rate compared to the state at 72 last spring. So we're right there knocking on the door of the state average in math, 15% increase over the past 3 years. Algebra 1, we want to show this because, hey, looky here, we beat the state average. Woo! So last spring for middle and high, because the middle school has the offering of Algebra 1, and so we're at 94%, 20% gain over the past 3 years in our Algebra 1 performance. And so, hooray, congratulations to our math teachers of Algebra 1. And then we flip to science. Science, 67% last spring. It's a 12% increase from the 55% the year before, and we're not far from our state average. And then finally in history, history seems to be a struggle statewide. You see the state average at 66% last spring, and we hit at 62%. And as we said, we've made great gains. We certainly have more to do. We're proud of what we've done. We've increased, and we've shown that we can do hard things, as Waverly Yao would say. Look at those ladies out there, and we will continue to put forth great effort. This is one measure, of course, and we keep that in mind. And we know that our teachers are working really hard, and we're proud of this effort. And we hope to see continued growth next year. We hope to see that bar even with state averages or exceeding in more areas. So happy to answer questions while Mr. Coiner comes up for his part of the presentation.
When are they not raw scores? When do we kind of know the finished scores after they've been calibrated and whatever else they got to do?
We haven't seen Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. That has not been released yet as far as...
It's going to be a new form.
Yeah, that. What's she saying?
There's a new format coming out this year. So as soon as we have that format, because we're being ranked differently, we'll present it at the meeting.
Next slide, thank you. So I'm going to start, I'm going to sort of show what the format of our school plans look like, and then get into a little bit of what our plan has in it. The plan has 4 different domains. It has academic supports, professional learning supports, staffing supports, and school climate supports. Next slide. So starting with the academic supports, this is just a snippet. We have established a SMART goal, all of us have, for each one of these domains. So this is the academic supports domain with the content area of English. We also have math and science, and we don't have history at the primary school included in the plan. I imagine some of the other schools do. So our SMART goal for reading English is that by May of this year, our school will demonstrate appropriate academic success in English, defined as 85% of our students scoring in the low to moderate risk band of the VALS assessment, and that also our students with disability will demonstrate extended growth as well. And then associated with this, back one please, is the evidence-based strategy name. So we're all looking at evidence-based instruction. So we're looking at strategies that have been proven through research. Our tier of evidence here is strong, and obviously with the primary school, it won't come as any shock that phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, and phonics are a big part of that. Next slide, please. So we're going to have 2 student measures and 2 staff measures for each one of these supports. Again, the student measure for us is going to be their performance on the VALS assessment, and actually the VALS assessment in both cases, but with whole group and with students with disabilities. But it also has 2 staff measures, so we're looking at our the growth of our staff as well. So our first staff measure is that we are going to be implementing our HQIM, high quality instructional materials, which is open court for us. And we are going to be implementing that with fidelity 100% of the time, measured through formal and informal observations. But also with that, we are looking at alignment of that instruction. As I mentioned in an earlier presentation tonight, these curricula don't necessarily always align perfectly with what Virginia's expectations are. We have to tweak and move things, so we are always looking at that as well. Next slide, please. So then associated with each one of these also are a series of action steps. And again, this is just a little snippet. You'll notice that the first action step is that teachers will develop and implement these lesson plans that we spoke about, and that they will be in alignment with academic and cognitive expectations of the Virginia Standards of Learning. So it has to be not only aligned with the appropriate content, we have to have the appropriate expectations of students. So if the Virginia Standard says that students are going to apply knowledge of a concept, and we're seeing lessons that are simply defining or showing understanding of a concept, then that's aligned on one side, but not on the cognitive side. So we're always measuring that. We're following that with the school administrators, reviewing those lesson plans, overseeing the implementation through the use of observations, and then also maintaining a feedback loop with teachers to support and enhance effective classroom practices. Again, these are snippets. These plans are very, very long. Lots of action plans, action steps in them. There's just a small snippet. Next slide, please. And here are some of our numbers. As you can see, we are headed in a good direction. You look back in 2019, I'm looking at the PALS VALS, which is our reading assessment. So in 2019 at 81.2%, pretty good. Something happened in 2020, and then 2021 doesn't look so great. But you do see incremental improvement. We went from that 48 to a 63, huge jump, another big jump up to 75, and then we leveled up a little bit, just right at 76. Now, this, I believe, is through the time we were implementing open court, so that doesn't come as a huge shock. And what we're really proud of is last year's scores, 85.52. So we have surpassed by in excess of 4 percentage points where we were in 2019, and we grew nearly 10 percentage points from 2024 to 2025. It was an outstanding year. Our school is not included in those the wonderful numbers that Dr. Jones shared at the outset, because that was all the SOL scores, 3rd through 8th. But I do want to point out that we were recognized as the second highest growth in the CIP consortium, which is 75 school divisions, about half the state. We were number 2. So I wanted to make sure I slipped that in there. Thank you. We're seeing similar things in math, and that's the NPS map above benchmark there. Again, we were 81.3 in 2019, which I've mentioned to the board before. We didn't see the drastic drop in 21 in math that we saw in reading, but what we also haven't seen is the dramatic increases that we've seen in reading. We're seeing smaller increases, and we have been pretty stagnant 22 through 24, and then made a 5-point jump this past year in math as well. So I'll have to say that we're very pleased with our results this past year. The two graphs on the bottom, I share these because these are one of the few true state average comparisons that we're privy to at our level. Looking at 2022, 23, 24, in both reading and math is what they're demonstrating there. We have compared favorably to the state every year. Exceeded state average by 2 percentage points in 22, by 2 percentage points in 23, by 3 percentage points in 24. And what you're seeing in 25 is a high number for us that we're very proud of, but we've not received a state report yet. I don't know what the state average is. Looking at the history, I have every confidence it's going to be better than the state average. And I think the same will be true for math. We actually have outpaced the state average in math by a considerable margin. Now, these are kindergarten, not whole school numbers, because that's the information that I get from the state. That's all I have right now. I would look for this to change as VALS and VKRP, which is the Virginia Kindergarten Readiness Program, is going to expand to third grade. I don't know if they'll change the name or not, but it'll be a preschool through third grade initiative in the near future. So what I'm hoping is that we'll get those state comparison numbers across all grade levels in the future. And I fully expect to compare well. Next slide, please. These are just the SMART goals from the remaining domains for staffing supports associated with mentorship. The professional learning supports are aimed at training for evidence-based instructional strategies in the science of reading. We're also, though, looking at math. So, again, this is not exhaustive. We are looking at the evidence-based practices in both math and reading as part of our plan. And next slide, please. And the last domain is school climate supports. I think our school has a great climate. Just want to throw that out there. But this is a real focus on chronic absenteeism and reducing our chronic absenteeism numbers. I'm sure you recall a couple of years ago we were not in a great spot. The country wasn't in a great spot with chronic absenteeism in public schools. But it is our goal to get down to 5%. And then if you'll get the next slide for me, please, I'll show you where we are. We continue to reduce those chronic absenteeism numbers. That 21, 22, those were our huge numbers. Last year had a great year, dropped down to 9.6%, and reduced even further this year down to 7.5%. Again, that red line indicates state expectations at a level 1, which is 12% or less. We are far below that 12%, still heading towards 5%. And kudos to our assistant principal, Mrs. Johnson. She has worked hard on this, and it's a fairly thankless job, but she's done a great job. And again, down to 7.5%, we're thrilled with those numbers. Again, a chronically absent student, I do point out, is a student who has missed 10% or more of the academic year, or at least 18 days. And when we're looking at that 21, 22, we had students missing 40 to 50 days of school, which is amazing to me. So again, headed in a great direction, pretty proud of our numbers. I think that's my last slide. Now just a graphic of, just to show this is a continuous process. We plan, we implement, we monitor, we plan again. And that is my last slide. Any questions? I would be happy to answer.
I don't have a question, just a comment. I think it's great to see how the correlation for the test scores reflect attendance becoming better as well. And that they're actually going to get more out of it when they're there. And I think it's tremendous, great work there. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
Kids' goal scores go up.
It's amazing how that works. Thank you.
Again.
Hello.
Next slide, please. Thank you. These are our goals this year. So we're taking where we were this past year and improving by another 10% is our hope. So for goal 1, we'd like to increase percentage of students passing Virginia Science from 64 to 74. Goal 2, percentage of students passing reading from 61 to 71. Goal 3, percentage passing math from 65 to 75. And then maintaining our chronic absenteeism rate of 2%, or no more than 5% of the total student population. So those are our goals this year. Next slide, please. And in setting those goals, we based them on what we did this past year, which we could not be happier about. We're so excited to share with you increases across the board in all grade levels and all subjects in reading, math, and science. So third grade reading had a 6% increase overall. Math, a 6% increase in third grade. Grade 4 reading, an 8% increase. Math, a 9% increase in grade 4. Grade 5 reading, a 14% increase. Math, a 7% increase. In science, a 16% increase. So based on those data points, that's how we got to our next 10%. Keep plugging away. So we have 3 targeted areas we really want to focus on is our instructional planning, our interventions, and our homeschool connections. These are pretty much all the same as last year. We're going to continue to align our lessons with state and local pacing, plan and implement science instruction that reflects critical thinking and inquiry, targeted early academic and behavioral intervention, progress monitoring, and then fostering that positive school climate. Next slide, please. Again, we have our goals for instructional planning, and then on the right, the ways in which we intend to do that through our continued alignment, increased rigor, quarterly benchmarks in literacy, writing, math, and science. And this year we are integrating social studies as well through the use of CIP. And then we're continuing with our STEM class as a specials rotation to support grade level instruction with hands-on learning, which I think absolutely impacted our overall increase in science scores. So that'll definitely be continued. Next slide, please. Interventions. This is our current number of Tier 3 students receiving intervention from our reading specialist and/or assistant. In third grade, we have 33 students, grade 4, 22, and grade 5, 18. Math intervention is evidence-based target instruction, as well as using kiddo materials, our new math curriculum. STAR time continues with targeted small group instruction. That includes both remediation and extension of skills. And that is teacher time during STAR time, extra teacher time, and then grade level meetings that focus on data, instruction and pacing, student needs, and grade level based topics, what teachers deem they need for support. Next slide, please. Our homeschool connection. This is absolutely where we have really made gains, I think, is building our homeschool connection, talking to our families, how can we best support your student, not only in attendance, obviously, with 2%, but how can we support them in the classroom academically, and how can we support them behaviorally and/or emotionally in the classroom. And I think this is where we really are making our gains. In addition to aligning our curriculum and our lesson plans, but when you fold in that communication, parent contact is a Tier 1 expectation. It is the expectation of the teacher to communicate with the family regarding the success and/or challenges of a student. So communication is up top, positive phone calls home, weekly emails, strong ESL partnership, and home visits. Ms. Spears and myself, we get in that car and we go. If we can't get into contact with a parent, they know we're coming. STAR quarterly assemblies. Last year we had 4,506 STAR forms across our school, we're really targeting that positive behavior. This is what we want to see. You're doing a great job. This is what we want to see. Community engagement. Of course, you heard from the Garden Club this evening. Virginia Cooperative Extension, American Legion Post 157, Madison County Library. We're really all saying the same message, and we're all supporting our students in the same way. And we're providing outlets for them to creatively meet those expectations. And then attendance, I cannot thank Kendall Fears enough. She is the attendance queen. Fit students, so for flexible instruction time, we had 85 students participate in flexible instruction, and that may seem like a really huge number, but as a result of parent feedback, we offer fit time for any student who is absent 4 days. So if they have the flu, if they have strep, if they have any type of attendance link that they're out, we don't wait until they are at the time where they have 10 or more absences. We make that time up in real time so that they are getting help on the work and class time that they have missed. So we had 85 students participate in that, and 7 out of 350 students were deemed chronically absent at the end of last school year as a result of that effort. And our motto this year is show up and shine, building bright futures, and we're doing that together. Any questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Sure.
When you took your job and
Yes.
and you had a lot of new staff and stuff,
Mhm.
you had a bear of a job. I'm with you.
Yes.
And I want numbers now. Numbers aren't everything, but they're
Correct.
important, right?
Right.
They're indicative of something. And but it's to see the scores rise across the board like that. I mean, a lot of times you'll see, this one area rise something, but to see
Mhm.
those scores rise like that across the board is really, really impressive. And I just want to thank you for your effort. I mean, obviously, you and we aren't really satisfied where they are. Of
course.
Your goals, your aggressive
Right.
goals indicate
Mhm.
that very clearly that you're going after it, continue going after it. But I just
That's
want to
right.
commend you for
Thank you.
taking on a hard situation there.
Right.
And really the significant increase across every single subject is really, really impressive. And so kudos to you and to your staff and
you.
teachers and everybody there for making a real difference, because they were, it was really concerning where we
Oh,
were.
right. Absolutely.
And
Yes.
and you've done a good job. at
Oh, it
really
was
adjusting
interesting.
that.
I had a faculty meeting this past week, and I said, how many of you have been here 1 to 3 years? And it was pretty much the entire faculty is 1 to 3 years. And as I shared this data with them, I said, this is your data. This is year-over-year data. They should be very proud of what they have accomplished as a team. They were, brand new, some not having any experience in the classroom, really, and they really have done a great job, and I could not be prouder of them. In fact, last year, I remember I was here, and I remember I stated my goals, and I remember you saying, those are some pretty lofty goals. Do you think you can do that? And I said, yes, I think we can. And we came pretty close.
Yep, I remember that very clearly. And my follow-up question is, same thing. Do you think you can do that? Not really that question, because obviously you do think that.
I
But
do.
do you have the resources? Do you have the resources, do you think, to accomplish those
I think we
aggressive
really
goals?
do. I think that we have a great instructional coach. We have a great team that, I get in the classroom and I help teach. And it's just, it really is a team atmosphere. And we support each other. And if we don't have the resources, then we find it, or we speak with Dr. Jones about it, or Ms. Graham, what are some things that we can do to support teachers in providing the high-quality instruction that we know students deserve.
Job well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
This information, correct? Okay, budget update. Ms. Krapp.
Okay, this should only take about an hour.
Can we go get some coffee first?
Yeah, I'll be brief. We just have a couple of things we want to update you all on. Our ADM this year we're very happy with it. It's 1,512 students with a budget based on 1,520. So that's better than we've been in the last few years. So we're happy about that. We'll keep monitoring it. The other thing is we really are already starting to talk about budget for FY 27, 26, 27. And some of you all won't be here with us as we finish our budget season next year. But those of you all that will be here, if you want to start thinking about your goals as a board, and we will miss those of you that won't finish the budget year with us. but I don't have anything else. Do you? Okay, thank you. Any questions, I should say?
I do one comment. I obviously won't be here, and I don't mean to say anything more just for my opinion. And I would urge people to think about teacher pay. We addressed it in the past, but if you look at where we are in comparison with surrounding schools, we are the lowest on average of surrounding schools. In some ways, this is a business, and if we can't compete in terms of paying teachers, then the quality of teaching is gonna invariably suffer. There are gonna be a lot of people who still are willing to come and work for a little bit less, and that's wonderful. But that's not a business model, a sustainable business model, I don't think. And so I just would urge us to think about. I know it's painful, but we've got to be. I think we have to be competitive with local districts. I'm not talking about Charlottesville. I'm not talking about Culpeper even. But we got to be competitive with Rappahannock, and we're below Rappahannock now in many grade levels. They're a smaller school district. We're lower than Green. We're lower than Orange in most areas. I mean, we've got to figure something out, I think. And I just say that just to be on your radar, because it won't get better without addressing it. And so something to think about.
And we've already been looking at that, because we're getting ready to meet with teacher advisory, and we've already predicted that it's going to be teacher pay, rightly so, and class sizes, and adding another teacher to each grade level. But talking about the localities between Culpeper, Orange, Green, and Rappahannock, starting at year 5, at year 1, we're only ahead of Rappahannock. Beginning at year 5 and beyond, we're behind everyone, and that's embarrassing. Teachers can't afford to live here. So that's just going to have to be a huge topic for those of us that are left, and then the new people we add, of what we're going to need to have some serious discussions about in the county. It's not fair to our teachers.
And I'll still be here, and as a lifelong educator, there was multiple times I wanted to come back home and be a part, and had to make the decision for my family that was not the best at that point in time. And I sadly say that. And I sit on a board to represent our community and the teachers that are in it. And the comment was constantly made through that. When we see test results, we've seen a lot of raw data of improvements, matching, some surpassing. Some of them really based toward the things that we were trying to hit on, which was our attendance and keeping kids involved. I do think that also with what's going to be popping up here shortly as far as business approval with the draft screen time, having less of that is going to also show a big increase. We are headed in the right direction, but we need to make sure we're still doing that for the staff that's caring for our kids. And I cannot emphasize that enough as a dad that has kids in this system. And I would want to have them anywhere else. So we need to definitely make that priority.
I just kind of like reiterating that, and like also going back to your advisory committee, you guys, all the administrators going back to your people and just kind of recognizing like we are aware. Like, because I think sometimes things go out and it's like, oh, the board doesn't know. Like we know, like, and on top of that, like we know how valuable our teachers are. We know that we are able to, pick these new teachers and make this growth, and they're making such a difference to our county, and we do appreciate that, and we're doing everything that we can. So thank you all, thank your staff from, I think, all of us, and just, yeah, we're very aware of what's, those needs.
We need to recognize that this is not a school system issue. There are young couples in Madison County right now that don't work for the school system that can't afford the price of houses in Madison County. If I didn't build my house 8 years ago, I would not be able to afford a house in Madison County. So I do appreciate our teachers. It's sometimes a thankless job. They do a fantastic job at it. But at some point, there's not money to keep paying people more. It's just not going to be there unless we bring some innovation to Madison, or some business or manufacturing or what have you. And we're not really, geographically, we're not set up to do such a thing. So at some point, we have to accept the reality as it is. And personally, I like Madison County, and the pay here isn't that great. It's a small community, but that's what I want for my family. And I'm hoping that we have teachers that's what they want for their family. We keep beating this dead horse about teachers not getting paid enough. We're competing with Rappahannock or Green or Orange. I just think that there's something, I believe that there's something special about Madison that, you know what, I don't need to make that much money because I'm living in a good place, because my family's in a good place, because I'm in a safe community. There's lots of good people around. If people need help, there are people there to help. So I understand that teacher pay might not be up to par with the surrounding communities, but I don't want to live in Orange County. I don't want to live in Rappahannock. I don't want to live in Green. Madison is a special place. And it's one of the things that concern me with ending my tenure on this board is it looks like we'll be going toward a board that's all employed by local government. And who's going to advocate for the other side of it? That's something that I'm concerned with. But there's something special about Madison that money can't buy. I just hope that the people that are here working in Madison County Schools see that something special is here.
Okay. We will move on to First Generation College Tour to Virginia Tech. Looks like we need to approve an October 11th through the 12th. Oh, come on up. You've been hanging out all afternoon, waiting to be able to talk to us about Virginia Tech.
Yeah, so,
Sorry.
No worries, you're good. Hey, I'm the Pathways Advisor for Madison County. That's self-explanatory. But yeah, so in talks, because there is a bus issue, I've been getting in contact with a lot of universities to see if they can give us free transportation. And one of the opportunities presented to us was from Virginia Tech. This is going to be first generations. A lot of our seniors and juniors, a lot of kids in Madison County would be first generation if they decide to go to four-year university. And I believe that this would be a great opportunity for us. It would be at no cost to Madison County because it would be covered by Virginia Tech.
With a University of Virginia shirt on.
Oh yeah, that's just my play.
I gotta tease you, sorry.
No.
We have a split household too.
I didn't go to UVA.
There's two of us that like UVA and two of us that like Virginia Tech, so it's all good. Any questions? Board?
How many students?
This is awesome.
Sorry, that's kind of loud. Sorry. I'm still working out the logistics, but I will get a mix, mostly seniors, juniors, and maybe some sophomores that are more so academically inclined to go to the four-year.
Nice. We're ready? All right, I'll open the floor for the motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no.
No.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Motion is approved. Thank you so much. I know, right?
Free cup of coffee or something.
I need some coffee. Okay, our next item is the 2025-2026 Advisory Committee members. I'm not going to read all this, but your names are listed.
Yes.
Where they are listed. I think we've already been serving.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any noes? Awesome. Motion approved. Draft screen time policy.
So the draft policy went back to schools for 2 months, so it's been 2 months since you've seen it. When it comes up on the screen, you'll see in yellow the changes recommended by each school. The principals worked with their staffs to make some changes, so you'll see a few tweaks for pre-K 2 in individual screen time, not exceeding 40 minutes instead of 20, just to accommodate certain things they may have going on. And then no changes, grades 3 through 5, but noted, learning how to type at some point. Grades 6 through 8, they took your suggestion, Ms. Wood, I think you were the one that made it, about setting the time limits by class period and not school day, so they worked that out. Each class should strive to limit computer usage to approximately 20 minutes per block, but then giving them flexibility. If there was like a project they're working on, they could bank some time, for lack of better words, and do their project. And then high school found no changes. And then the only other changes were just some updates to clarify the actual recess and playtime given at primary school. Pre-K actually has 250 minutes a week. Kindergarten actually has 275, and grades 1 and 2, 200, by the way the schedule worked out this year. And then Waverly Yao, 25 minutes a daily recess, not 25. So those were the updates. And again, it was the principals working with their staff at each school to come up with those things to present to you tonight. So, yeah. And the good thing is, this policy has allowed everyone to just be more thoughtful about how they're using class time. I think that's been the goal pretty much of the board anyways.
And I'm just double checking, I think it says it in here, I just keep reading and scrolling, but like when we have like our mandated remediation time and things like that,
That's
that's
not counted
not
in it,
counted
right.
against an educator. like-
But in no school, in no situation is there a child sitting in front of a computer all day.
And
Like,
that's
just
the
a little
perfect
portion of their
part, yeah.
time. Right.
Okay.
I'll just say, when we started working on this, when I started thinking about this and working on this, I was certainly in favor of more draconian limitations. And I think I support this. I mean, I think it's a reasonable compromise with the schools and we're trying to do. And I think the test scores coming up helps to mitigate the argument that I was kind of focused on about the tech stuff's not helping us. It's where our scores are better. I would just ask the principals to remember the community really has said they wanted us to limit screen time as much as possible. You obviously have other things you got to accomplish, and we acknowledge that through this policy. But that's really our goal, is to really limit screen time as much as possible. And sharing that goal with you, I think, just kind of a reminder. That's the overarching idea, is to be really thoughtful about when we put a kid in front of a computer and the isolating features of it. The dangers of relying on that, all those things that kind of research has borne out. And so I think this is a reasonable compromise for that. I want to thank our student representative for her work on this project that helped to start it. So thank you for your work on that. And so I support it.
It all came from you. I do just want to reiterate that the movement is equally as important as well. And so I continue to receive messages that recess is being taken away in multiple of the schools as a disciplinary action for kids, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I do not think recess should be taken from kids. In most cases, those kids, they need to move, and that's why they're misbehaving, because they're not getting enough movement. It happened a couple weeks ago. I let Miss Graham know. So I just want to reiterate that this movement is equally as important as the screen time.
And in some situations, just to clarify, because the principals and I have talked about it, and Dr. Jones as well, that we are being very mindful and careful that to not take away recess just for something like Tina didn't do her homework. But if a child is getting recess during class time at the expense of others, then they might be losing their recess if they've already had it during class.
Yeah,
when
and
they were
that's
moving
different.
around.
I mean,
But
I think
just
that's
to clarify
different.
so everyone
Yeah.
knows what we're talking about.
The message that came or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, was that the whole class had just lost recess. And, I just don't think that's okay, especially for one or two people's behaviors, right? And
No.
so.
But just if anybody's listening at home, just so they know what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
So I just think I'm happy that these numbers are greater than they were, and I reiterate that kids need to move.
Yeah, the movement has been actually studied and proven multiple times that if you have a lot of movement before core classes, it does increase test scores.
Yep.
And it's just one of those things that cannot be ignored. And having more access to kids being active is always a great move. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt the policy.
Absolutely. And before we do that, hold on. I just want to say, people know, this community knows that I'm in favor of movement, and so that's probably why they call me. So I'm just sharing that too. Motion on the board. We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Awesome. Okay, reports.
We did not have a CIP meeting this month. The only big deal we have going on, Stacy sent me an email. The HVAC project at Waverly is ongoing. 3 units have been installed, and the 4th is set to be installed this weekend,
Nice.
weather permitting, and then that'll should be taking. Of course, they're doing other stuff, getting things hooked up while they're working on it too. And Stacy also asked that I mention some thank yous to Mooney and Jerry for helping with the goalposts and for the football games, and then apparently Mooney's been helping out quite a bit around the facilities too. So thanks to Mooney for that. But that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. All I have is, again, just a thank you to Mrs. Graham and high school staff and everybody involved at the Hall of Fame thing. Really successful. Thank you very much for that. It's wonderful. I just had a couple, it's not really a report, but just a couple of comments. I've had a couple of feedback from some citizens and some concerns. I think there's all just misunderstanding what we're doing. Just want to remind people that I'm really happy with the positivity project. That I'm happy that the leadership seems to appreciate it and like it. I think it's some of the comments I've heard recently is what we are really, really committed to not doing. It's a positive project that I think is really stripped of any ideological concerns. It's very focused on values and virtues and character traits, and we really intentionally did that. And so I think I just had a couple of comments about that, and I think we really are doing that now, and I urge us to be vigilant in not allowing it to go backward. I mean, when we took away the social emotional learning stuff that had an ideological component to it, and put in place this characterization stuff for that reason, and I think it's a good move. And last is, just want to say again, I mean, I'd like to write I will try to write an article for whatever papers we have left in Madison about the SOL and CIP scores. I'll try to do that next week or two. I'll get Mrs. Graham with some details about it, because it's really worth highlighting. I mean, that is that work that you all and your teachers and the students and families have done. It's really impressive. I mean, we were not at a great place. We all knew that a couple years ago, but the huge strides from kindergarten through high school, really, really impressive, and we ought to celebrate that. And so we ought to look, I'll write an article, look for ways to remind people of all that really good work that's really super, super important. So thank you for all that. Thank you for all your work. Appreciate it.
We haven't had a prep board meeting yet, but that's happening next Wednesday, 2 weeks Wednesday, prep. Piedmont Regional Education Program. That's happening in 2 weeks, so I don't have anything to report there. I do know that they moved into their new building, and they love it, and they're excited about that, and things are running smoothly there. Yeah, that's really all I have. I direct people back to y'all when they call me, or to Miss Graham or Dr. Jones. Because I don't need to be in the weeds. So if you get phone calls, because Nita said for them to call you, I did say for them to call you. So I do redirect a lot. So thank you for taking care of all that.
Nothing to report, although Wednesday we'll be heading to the governor's school meeting with Ms. Graham to see what we're going to be adopting, which is kind of positive as far as emails go so far. So looking forward to that. Other than that, that's all I have to report.
Yeah, I haven't been to any meetings since our last meeting either, so I don't have much. I always like to shout out just the need for schools to have good, positive role models and volunteers and things like that. So anybody that's here or watching at home, you know, if you have some time, go volunteer in our schools. Our teachers, I know, would love it, and the kids are awesome. So if not able to do that, of course, it's full-on fall sports season. So, like, you know, if you have the time, go support our Mountaineers.
Do you have anything to add?
I don't have that much to add, but just thankful for everything that the school board does, again, because especially sports, academics, clubs, all like that, just taking in opinions and just doing everything that you can.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Ms. Graham?
I just wanted to say one more time, it's been said a lot, and Lisa left, but definitely a huge thanks to Lisa and Kaylee Ruth and Michelle Farmer and Tim Tryon, and then Jerry Carpenter, because he was a great MC at the Hall of Fame, Patty Sill and Karen Householder and their team, like, made a delicious meal. It was just a good night, and the student athletes, like, so I think more people commented on the student athletes, and rightly so, because the way you all like presented yourselves, and you were so polite, and you, as much as you said you enjoyed the conversations, people were talking about how much they enjoyed talking to you all. So it was just wonderful to have the kids there to see, like, look where they can be, and some good speeches. I don't know how many you got to hear, but and I'm sorry for not knowing his first name, but Mr. Campbell, who was on the 2010 basketball
Casey.
team. Casey, thank you. He kind of summarized everything when he said he was so excited to get that state ring, but then he took it off. He said within like 3 days, he took it off and put it away. He thought he was going to wear it forever, but he said the real prize was being on the team, and that's what he's come to realize over the years. So that's my parting words. Well, tonight, because that's so much work. All those
It
slides,
is.
when you sit there and realize they presented their character plans and their school improvement plans, and that still took us a couple hours, but the days and hours and hours and hours involved, not with just them, but their teachers, that's so much work, so many moving parts, and talking about the prize being the team. There you go.
And it's 9:30 at night, so I know you guys have been away from home since I have been away from home this morning, probably. So, yes, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Davis, thank you. I'm glad you're feeling better. Pastor, thank you.